Let's call the meeting to order. I understand we've got a couple of board members online. It's good to have you there and participate in any way you want to. We appreciate it. Let's see. Call to order. Board of Aldermen minutes, meeting minutes. Diane's not here, but we'll keep that there. Award recognition. Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I need that. As you all know, from time to time, we have moments of excellence with our staff, and we like to try to recognize those. This has kind of been a long coming. This happened in September of 2020, and we kind of postponed it with COVID and things like that going on, and wanted to present that here today. We have Sergeant Brad Brenner. The recommendation came from his lieutenant, Lyle Annable, and I'm just going to read a little excerpt of why we're here today. This is for a life-saving award. Sergeant Brenner responded to an address here in Elon. He found a 43-year-old man laying half in and outside of a passenger area of a motor vehicle. His wife had called in. He was unresponsive. And when Sergeant Brenner arrived, she was trying to administer CPR on this man. Once he arrived, he quickly evaluated the medical condition of the victim. He ascertained that there was a known history of drug abuse. He immediately checked his vitals, his eyes, found the pupils to be pinpoint dilated, which is indicative of drug use. At that point, he retreated to his patrol car, grabbed the naloxone or Narcan that we use, and administered that prior to Station 8 arriving. All this happened within a matter of 4 minutes. What also made this impressive is that Sergeant Brenner administered the Narcan. It didn't fully work. Station 8 had to also administer some while the patient was en route to ARMC. Sergeant Brenner could have left that as is. He had all the information he needed. He went back to he followed up and went to the hospital just to check on this man. When he got there, he had kind of refused treatment and was leaving. And he took the initiative to kind of explain and educate him on, the naloxone only works for a certain amount of time. If you still have drugs in your system, you can fall back into an overdose and it can be fatal. And because he took time to re-educate and that he cared, this man went back into the hospital and stayed. And for that, we believe he saved a life. And I just want to recognize him today. So you want to come up? That is what this plaque basically says. A lot of verbiage, but it's essentially for the incident I just described. So, oh, you want pictures? Okay. Also, while I'm here and have you hostage of time, in the meantime, his intermediate certificate came in. Well, I've stood up here before about advanced certificates, and this is the next level. So this came in for you. He applied, he was approved, and I just want to go ahead and hand that off to you as well. So again, that has to do with his formal experience, training, and formal education all combined. How many years you have on? 7. So that's an excellent pace for his advanced certificate as well. So come on up, Sarge.
On there, the post.
Wow. Very nice.
1, 2, 3. And give it again. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right.
We have a public comment section. Any citizens here tonight or online who would like to make any comments to this board about their wishes or concerns for the town? All right, we'll close the public comment section. Proclamation.
This is actually 2 proclamations in one, if you will. July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month, and July 16th is recognized as Park and Recreation Professionals Day. And as we have a pattern or a history of recognizing the work that the professionals who work for the town undertake, We'd ask that you approve these proclamations, and we'll make note of it this next month during the month of July.
Without objection, should we put that on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe a motion or
So
just.
this is agenda session. Let's see, public hearing, land development ordinance tax amendment, LDO number 21-01 to incorporate North Carolina General Statute, Chapter 160D division. Mr. Soto?
Thank you, Mayor. General Assembly has adopted a new chapter in the general statutes, specifically related to development regulation and planning, and it's rather extensive. Our planning board did hear this and made a unanimous recommendation for approval. These are all required by statute, with one minor exception that has to do with creating some definitions so that we can abide by some of the required statutes. And happy to take any questions that you have. We'd be interested in a vote on this next week.
It was quite a read.
Yeah.
A lot of fun to produce.
Quite a read.
Yes, I bet. I learned a lot.
So did I.
But you answered the main question, and that was, it is all required by state statute.
Absolutely.
So as far as the work we're doing on the LMO, it won't supersede that, or it will basically be replaced with the LMO?
It will be, and when that is finalized, it will incorporate all of these required changes as well, just probably in a little bit different format because the entire document will be formatted differently.
I will add that Pam undertook these amendments on her own, so all the work you see is hers. So we spent a lot of time over the last month or so.
That sounded like a warning, but probably.
No, kudos to you for undertaking it and doing it. And
I'm joking.
we know some towns are paying tens of thousands of dollars to hire outside consultants to do it for them. So
Appreciate it, man.
good job and a good savings.
Any
And
citizens in-house or online who would like to make any comments? If not, we'll close that.
if I could, because we are in a remote format and we have board members who are here remotely, under statute, we need to leave the public hearing open for a period of 24 hours. So as far as a motion, if pending any negative comments received by tomorrow evening, close the hearing tomorrow evening, and then you'll have an opportunity to vote on it next week.
Closes the public hearing. Do I have to come in and close?
No, I think the motion would be pending the receipt of any negative comments prior to 7 PM tomorrow evening, close the public hearing.
You have a board member making that motion.
What you said.
What is it? Ditto, okay.
Yes.
Let's see, next public hearing, the budget ordinance.
And
Mr. Roder?
we gonna vote on that first one?
Second.
Yeah, we just had a motion and a second.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All those in favor?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, now the proposed budget.
Okay. I have the same presentation I gave you folks last month. If you'd like to, couple of revisions to it, took out some of the more background information. If you want to see it, if not, I can give you a quick verbal summary, the high points.
The verb will be fine.
Quick vote will be fine.
All right, you have a budget in front of you that is exact total. It's a little bit in excess of $15 million. And I guess what's important to recognize about that budget is that 2 million of that is related to the acquisition of the Travis Creek pump station on the expenditure side, and on the revenue side as well from how we're going to finance it. We are now, what you approved this last year, prior to that 2019 or 2020 budget, we are back to where we were on the 2020 budget. 2021, we we added money back in. We were still below where we were then. Some of the major issues that are involved, obviously, we always have health insurance increases, cost of living increases on our payroll, retirement has gone up. We have increased or proposing increased staffing, full-time maintenance person at the recreation department, assistant to the planner in the planning department, and a half-time position in the front office for billing and payments. The billing and payments position is intended to support that department as we move toward monthly billing on our utilities. I believe that will kick in on the October billing cycle. So we'll be sending out a July bill. And then we'll send out the September bill for 1 month or for two. That'll be for 2 months. And then I guess on November.
October 1st will be for 1 month.
Okay. So October 1st will be for a single month and we'll go forward from that point on. So there will be increased, obviously, handling of receipts and bills, hence the need for that additional half-time. That's a half-time position. So our net expenditure budget shows a $700,000 increase over last year, which is about a 5.6% increase. That's after discounting the $2 million related to the pump station. As part of the pump station acquisition, there is a proposed increase in our sewer and water and sewer rates. That currently is at 10%. We had received recommendations of 3 years of double-digit increases. We've reduced the first year, and we're hoping that we can greatly minimize subsequent increases due to some alternate financing that we're hoping might be available to us through the American Recovery Act, federal stimulus monies. If those monies can be used how we hope, we should be able to avoid rate increases attributed to those expenses. So,
Any questions for Mr. Rudner?
Have we heard any more about that, Rich? I know that,
yeah.
that's kind of an ongoing thing, but I didn't know if you'd heard any updates on that.
I mean, they've released guidance, they've released revised guidance. There's a lot of FAQs out there. It looks pretty good that for sewer and water, we can use those funds. Can't use it for existing projects. So, this whole pump station acquisition, that's been underway for quite a while. So we can't use it for that. We have not started the design process of the water line in East Haggard. So that we haven't started that project yet. So that we stand a good chance of being eligible to use that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, because we talked about that.
Yeah, we just backed off on it. We'd hoped to have the design work done now, but we're going to delay that until we're certain that those funds can be used for that. And the I&I, that's still 2 years down the road, so we'll look at that at the time. The major change, I think, from our perspective, is that when it was originally proposed and approved, all the funds had to be spent by the end of 24. They've extended that to the end of 26. Projects have to be, essentially you have to start the projects by the end of 24, but the funding is spent through 26. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility moving forward.
Any other questions for Mr. Rudner?
We get to earn that whopping 0.01% on the interest that we can draw.
Oh, we're up to 0.02.
0.21.
0.21. And one last comment on the budget. There's no increase in the tax rate being proposed. So
Rich, one question I had, obviously the federal money, which is a great win for us. I guess what concerns me is if all other or many other municipalities are in the same boat, where projects are going to be bid on, it seems like that's going to be one of those driving factors that we thought may be 2 million now becomes 3 million because there are limited contractors that they can pretty much choose to do what they want to do now.
Yep. And we're hopeful that we are prepared to start the design tomorrow. So as soon as the clock starts on this funding, we'll get the design work started. And we hope that'll put us in the early projects for this work so that we're not caught in the, yeah, I can do it for you, but it's going to be 50% more 2 years later.
Yeah.
Situation.
Other questions from board members? If not, we'll open the public hearing. Any citizens in-house or online who would like to make any comments to this board about the budget? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Do we need that same motion? we had?
Same motion to close it pending receipt of any negative comments by 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. E, ordinance and resolution authorizing increase in the micro purchase threshold. Misty?
Yes, sir. The limit for federal monies for bidding, getting formal bids has always been 10,000. But they have made a change and they will allow us to go to a level not to exceed 50,000. So this resolution will increase our limit for that to 30,000, which will match the state levels. So instead of having 10,000 for federal and 30,000 for everything else we do, it'll just match the levels. It'll be less confusing when people are making purchases.
It had 3 categories, and I'm sorry, I was working off a bad memory. So is it 30,000 for the apparatus, supplies, materials, 30,000 for construction, repair, and up to 50,000?
For service contracts that are subject to the Mini Brooks Act.
Other questions? If not, is there any reason that shouldn't be put on the consent agenda?
You want consent if you like, that'd be fine.
Let's put it on the consent agenda. New business, Missy, you up again. First National Bank entity authorization.
We had CD that was maturing, so I called around to get rates, and First National Bank had the highest interest rates. It is on a money market account, but I will keep an eye on it, make sure the rates don't go down. So we just need approval for Rich and myself to be signers on this account.
Any questions from board members?
You could do that tonight, or that's going to go next week.
Unless you're concerned of Misty and I getting in two accidents and being out of commission in the next week.
Misty, the money market, so it's not set for, typically money market's not set for a period of time. So that probably is not a bad thing. I mean, inflation's starting to kind of go up a little bit. So odds are rates are going to start to rise at some point. Although the Fed says they're not going to do it, may not have a choice.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that the money market was higher than any CDs I could find.
Not the case.
Yeah,
What was that rate? Can you
0.21%. And it had been between 0.2 and 0.25 for the entire year, which was a little surprising to me. It is.
A little bit better than my mattress.
Not much.
About the same as the hole in my backyard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Misty.
Without objection, we'll put that on the consent agenda. Art Advisory Board project.
Yes, that would be me. And I am not in the room with you because I will need to share my screen briefly to show you what we are looking at having your permission to do. So what we would like to do is we have 4 projects that the Art Advisory Board would like to see happen. And the first one, I'm just going to jump into it. The first one is called Yarn Bombing, and we would like to bring together a number of the Elon residents to create crocheted and knit pieces that would be applied to trees or benches and other public amenities in downtown, just as a way to add some color and creativity and just some fun. You'll notice that I put a fence in there. So the perspective would be we could attach this to our railroad fence and use it as a great little public art moment. These are from all over the world, different shots that I have found on the internet of different creative ways that they have done this. You can see the bicycle on the bottom where they actually crocheted and knit everything to cover up the bicycle. So it's just a kind of a unique way that we can bring some fun and highlight textile art in our downtown. And then the second project that we would like for you to consider, for many years now, you all have heard me talk about crosswalk art. And so crosswalk art is something that I'm passionate about. I think it's a great way for us to make our crosswalks safer, especially at Lebanon Avenue and Trollinger, where it's just 2 white lines. And one of our board members, Linda Raker, she had a great idea of tying into the North Carolina trail, quilt trail. And so what we would do is actually take quilt squares, create stencils, and then put the quilt squares into the crosswalks as the art piece, and then tie it into the North Carolina quilt trail. And the third piece that we would like to do, this is actually, it would be an artist call. So we have an artist downtown that we would like to have paint the orange barricades on the pedestrian side on North Williamson Avenue and the West College Avenue barricades. We asked her for like a floral motif or some kind of a garden motif onto those to create some brightness and light. And I've got a picture there that she just drafted up right quick for us. The artist in question that we like is Maria. She's one of the managers there at Pandora's Pies. She does all of their artwork. If you've gone down when we've done Window Wonderland, she does all of their drawings and designs on their windows for that particular thing. And she's incredibly talented. So we would like to do that. And last but not least, we have a lot of lovely red and white fire hydrants throughout downtown. We would like to make them a whole lot more happy and creative by painting them. So this would be another artist call, and we would actually work with the advisory board and a representative from the fire department to look at different artist designs and come up with a theme or have them kind of choose different things for each one, and then paint our fire hydrants downtown to add some art to a very functional piece of equipment.
How many fire hydrants do we have?
To be honest, I think we have 5.
Uh,
And I would need to confirm. And there are some stipulations, having talked with the fire department, there are some stipulations with, there's a ring around that tells them the fire flow. So we would want to make sure that the artist knew about that and didn't paint over that, because we want to make sure that the fire hydrant that they attach to put out a fire is the correct one. So there are things like that that we would work with the artist and with the fire department to ensure that we got an appropriately designed and fun piece of art, but also still functional fire hydrant.
Any questions from board members?
I think it's a great idea. I guess one question I had was with like the knitted crochet project, how long would you anticipate that art exhibit being up?
It's a community art project, and I think the policy is we would have it up no less than a week, no more than a month.
That's a lot of crocheting to do for a week.
It is.
The other question I had was the crosswalk. What type of medium would you do? Would you paint those between the white lines?
Yes. So the idea would be to actually pick out the quilt squares, because as anybody that knows quilts or seen them, there's a variety of different patterns. Pick out the patterns that we want to use, work with the Makers Hub to actually create the stencils. So that would also help us maintain them. So stencils, and then we would actually paint the crosswalks using the stencil. So you actually get the pattern, not just a random moment of spray paint.
Other questions?
Kathleen, I'm 100% behind this. Absolutely. I just had one question
Sure.
is Bernie Sanders going to help?
No,
So
that was
he-
just our fun meme we created
Oh.
whenever his mittens went viral. So I thought I'd throw it in there.
I thought he had some artistic skill. He was coming to Elon.
If he
did,
would
but
like to
wearing those
bring some
mittens, you can't do it.
dollars. Well, and he could bring his knitted mittens. We could use that for the yarn bombing. And then if he wants to bring some dollars with him, that would be awesome too.
Absolutely.
Questions that I had was one I think Kathleen's already answered. She's talked to the chief of police and the fire chief about any sort of safety issues or anything there. The crosswalk is, I mean, that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very colorful, but the white lines will still be very prominent. So you know
Yes.
that crosswalk is there. I just think people are going to be so enraptured with all the colors. It's going to be a wonderful thing for them to be able to see. And my only suggestion on the fire hydrants is that you don't paint them like a brown or a green that fades into the background. So anything bright red, bright blue, just bright colors, I think. But just the safety aspect of it.
Yes, we'll keep it fun and functional, and the crosswalks will maintain the white lines. So therefore they are an actual crosswalk.
What's the pleasure of the board? You want to keep that on the regular agenda, the consent agenda?
Consent agenda is fine.
Consent agenda. That'll be fine. Let's see, Kathleen, you up again, aren't you?
I am. So switching gears, but staying with the Arts Advisory Board, we have another fantastic volunteer that has come forth, and we're really excited to have her. It is Dr. Wen Ho. She is a Elon University resident as well as a university professor over at Elon U. She has an amazing background with the arts as well as creative placemaking, which is, as you know, for our downtown, that's a key part of Main Street. So just having her wanting to volunteer and be a part of that is fantastic. So we are excited that she is interested in joining us, and we hope that you'll approve her.
Is she gonna be here?
I will have her here next week.
Okay, why don't we leave that on the regular agenda, since she's gonna be here? Let's see, discuss consideration. Cancel our July meeting. It seems like we try to cancel every year, and the thing is, if something comes up, we won't cancel it. Can we count on you not to bring up anything?
No pressure. No pressure, Rick. Take care of it myself. How's that? At this point, between this week and next week, you'll be doing an awful lot of business. I think we can probably, barring a new pandemic, I think we'll be okay for next July, for this coming July to skip our meetings.
So it's a pleasure to the board to skip July if we can. Does that need any kind of vote?
Probably should, only because we've designated that second Tuesday as our regular meeting, so a vote tonight to cancel our meetings in July, allow us to get publicity out on them and let people make plans if they're choosing to make plans for July.
So you want a motion tonight?
Sure.
Okay, have a motion,
I'll make the motion to cancel our July meetings.
have a second.
I'll make that second with the consideration about the staying open until 7 o'clock tomorrow. For this one, or can we go ahead and vote on
This
it?
is not a hearing, so you can go ahead and vote on it.
That'll be fine. Let's see, town managers report. Take a vote on that, cancel the meeting?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank you.
All right. Just a couple items on my report. As of 8 o'clock this morning, we opened town hall to walk-in traffic for the public, and seen several people show up today to take care of business. Other offices, the recreation facilities are all open as well. And police, fire, and public works, to the extent they were open to walk-in traffic, are that way again. Obviously, there are more secure facilities and they don't have much walk-in traffic. But I'd encourage everybody to take a look at the calendar on our website under our community for a list of upcoming events and activities, meetings, things to occupy your afternoons and evenings. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I gave the board copies. Our police department, in the discussions over the last year or so, there's been a lot of discussion about policing and and what they do and how they do it. Our police department, in an effort to be transparent and to demonstrate the work they're doing, has come out with the 2020 annual report. We've never done one before. It's not required, but they thought it was important to reach out to the wider community and say, this is the Elon Police Department. This is what we do, and this is how we do it. It's available under the link to the police department on our website. There's copies in the lobby at the police department and here at Town Hall. And it gives a great summary of the activities they've done, employee recognitions, the types of calls, the numbers of calls, what they go through for training, how they engage with the community, how they want to engage with the community. It is it's an excellent description of the department, who they are, what they do, how they do it, and to some extent, why they do it. So I'd encourage everybody to take a look at the website. If you don't have access, you can sort of pick up a hard copy here.
Anything else?
That's all I've got for the evening.
Comments from board members? Mr. Green?
This is great. Okay, I mean, really, I think with what's happened over the last year and a half and transparency and everything to kind of let people know where we stand and how we handle situations. This is, I hadn't looked through all of it, obviously, but this is a great idea. So kudos putting this out. Just another comment in general. I normally never go down University Drive by the park, but I had to go by there the other day and it looks really good. I mean, the landscaping, everything looks really good. Just a comment about that. I think it really serves us well to have a beautiful park right off that university. So just want to make that general comment.
Thank you. Mr. House?
Yeah, I agree, Mark. I think this is an excellent piece, and I also like to congratulate Sergeant Brenner for his fine efforts. I think we can't hear too many of those. And I like for other departments to have folks who go above and beyond to be recognized. So sometimes the people in maintenance and staff people, sometimes they're the unsung heroes, but we all know how important they are and what they mean. They take a lot of things from the public that most of us don't realize. So I appreciate the work they do.
If I could just follow up on that comment. This was a police department award, but I don't know, 2 weeks ago, one of our folks down at Public Works, Jerry Stolfus, came across a house fire and called 911 and then jumped right into it and got everybody out of the house. But before the fire department was there to respond, they took care of the fire. But he was recognized by the Elon PD for stepping up and jumping into the middle of that and making sure that people got out safely. So congratulations, Jerry. Yes, good job.
Mrs. Sharp?
I don't believe that Alderman Sharp has joined us. If not.
Mr. Ray?
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't make it in there, but I'm glad this COVID has brought Zoom and being able to do meetings while you're away. I want to thank Rich and Misty and the budget committee. They put a solid budget together. I think we have a good budget going forward into the next fiscal year. And then Chief Blackwelder, always in awe of our police department. I've spoke with many of the officers and actually had an incident at one of the restaurants the other day, and the officers came in, the PD and the fire department. But it was just nice to talk with the officers, and they shared kind words with me. So it's really nice to have a town that has police officers that are dedicated to the betterment for everybody. And I look forward, the Arts Committee is an awesome committee to work with. They're fun people, they're creative people, and they bring ideas from all different spectrums. So I look forward to continuing to work with them and hopefully bring some art to our downtown. And that is it for me.
Thank you. Ms. Montgomery?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Just a brief update. Thanks to Mr. Rodner and Alderwoman Sharp for their work on the resolution that you tasked us with doing. We continue to move forward on that. We've had some very interesting discussions. We challenge each other. We ask each other. We just want to understand each other, and it's led to some really good discussion and what we hope will be a good outcome. It's important for us to get everybody's feedback on the board. So you've had a chance to take a look at it. If you have any comments, if you're offering to us, we really appreciate your feedback. Mr. Kalo has had a chance to take a look at it. I haven't read all of his comments yet. He sent one just very late this afternoon, but he's been back from vacation, so we're starting to engage him. So we're looking forward to keeping this moving forward as we can to produce a good product for you. Like the other board members have mentioned, congratulations to Sergeant Brenner. I think what makes the difference between, I don't want to say a small town, I'll say our town and other towns. I mean, to go up to the hospital, to approach him in the parking lot, that's just unusual. It's like the situation we had with Deborah when she went to the extraordinary extent she went to solve a lady's problem. I mean, most of the times you just get that, here's the answer to your question, see you goodbye sort of thing. So just a great reflection on our town. So we can't thank him enough for that. That's worth more than any amount of dollars we'll ever be able to pay him. Want to ask about, Rich gave us an update on Diane and that I hope she's doing well, though I can't imagine if you broke your ankle in 3 places, you could describe that as doing well, but I hope she's doing all right. And if there's something that we can do, as a board, I think we'd probably like to provide a meal or something for her. And if you'll send the bill to Mark, he'll no problem.
That's a, what, 1854 steakhouse or something?
I think that's what.
Yeah.
It's steak and
Hey,
different.
go with the best.
But really sorry to hear that happen. I cannot imagine what happened to break your ankle in 3 places, but it could not have been good. And then what comes after that just kind of makes you shudder. What about the park? Like Mark and Bonnie have said, I'm amazed at how well it looked, but I was struck by, are those crab apples that are on the ground? There must be 1 million crab apples. So that's what they are. If we could sell those things for $1 a piece. But it is nice to see everything doing. So all the plants look good and healthy. The park is really a nice asset there right along University. But this afternoon, as I drove in, I was just amazed at all the thousands of crab apples that evidently have. You make a pie out of those things.
Preserves.
Preserved.
It's money in the budget, right?
That's right, yes.
And then the last thing I had is, as Mr. Roden was saying, they had the employee appreciation, and congratulations to those employees for their service awards and just our thanks for the work they do daily.
I'd like to offer on myself, Diane, wish her well. She's a very valuable employee. And Pam, thank you for taking over her tonight. Everything went well. I would like to congratulate our whole staff. The way we have reacted during this COVID, I think has just been amazing. And I think we're slowly opening up in town, and the town hall now is open. I just think it's wonderful. I think always been impressed with our staff. They're just all dedicated, hardworking and everything. And we want to wish them continued good luck. Mr. Rodner, you leading this group, you've done an amazing job, I think. We appreciate it. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned.